Live with Jason. He's one of our breathwork facilitators. He's going to share a little bit about his story, his journey, a little bit about who he is, and his journey becoming an elemental rhythm breathwork facilitator. Okay, amazing. So, first of all, my name is Jeremy, and I'll be kind of leading this session. And like I said, we're going live here with Jason, one of our breathwork facilitators. And just to kind of kick things off, Jason, why don't you share a little bit about your background and what you were doing before you became a breathwork facilitator?
Sure, yeah. Hi, everybody. I'm Jason Korthauer, and I'm down here in Texas, just outside of Houston, a little town called Brenham. And I guess before I was doing this, I was doing a lot of things, but I like to tell people my career started as a Lutheran pastor. So I'm an ordained minister by trade. And then a little over a decade ago, I started to get into more of the spirituality that is not in the church. And for the last decade or so, I've had my own rock shop or been my own facilitator of energy work, energy medicine, done my dabbling with meditation, whether as a facilitator or even a not practitioner, a participant in such things, as well as plant medicines. And so I currently have my own rock shop metaphysical center here in Brenham, Texas, where I sell any kind of tools you might need for oils or incenses or crystals. And then I also provide services here, usually in was before breathwork, in the neighborhood of like energy medicine, so like Reikis and other kinds of hands-on energy work, and then meditation classes. And then, of course, recently I've added breathwork classes and sessions, and then I also do one-on-ones with my breathwork here at the shop. And so I've been pretty much all over the metaphysical world, and so this really sort of spoke to me to come into this world and add breathwork as the basis of everything else that I do. So it's been a reinvigoration.
Oh, okay, amazing. That was a great kind of breakdown of what you were up to before and how you kind of transitioned in. What kind of inspired you then to become a breathwork facilitator?
Yeah, so there was a facilitator that I knew from down in Costa Rica that was advertising that he was doing a training up in Alaska. And so I had thought about doing it, didn't know where I would get it from, didn't know what kind of certification I would get. And so when I saw that come up, it was elemental rhythm, obviously, because I'm an elemental rhythm facilitator now.
For sure.
And so since he started doing it, I was always inspired by his words, and he seemed to be a generalist like me. He sort of knew a little bit about all kinds of spirituality, and so I figured if he thought it was useful and a grounding sort of thing for him to sort of leap from and do different things, I thought, well, that's probably what I'll do. And so part of my work that I'm always trying to do is I'm always trying to hey, everybody on Instagram, I'm always trying to give people something they can take with them, or something that's at the basis of everything that I know about, right? Whether that be Eastern spirituality, Western spirituality, or even things that lie outside of those realms, even meditation. And so breath is obviously the basis of everything. If you're not breathing, you're not living. And so the facilitation just sort of appealed to me that way, that it was going to give me a skill that I was seeking, and then it was going to be something at the core of what I do. Yeah.
Okay, so once you kind of took the facilitated training, how did that go for you? Like, how did you enjoy the actual training itself? And you said it's going to become the core of what you do. How did that work out? How did that integration kind of evolve?
Yeah. So, yeah, the training itself, I didn't know what to expect. It was a small group, and I think they hadn't done it that way before. And so it was an in-person training, and it was up in Alaska. And so it was a journey to get there. And so Alaska's a very spiritual place in the first place. And then, of course, I'd never met Gio. A lot of people there had met Gio before doing his in residence down in Costa Rica. And
Okay.
so I had never met Gio before. And so I was like, oh, who's this Gio guy? And I really enjoyed him and the guy that I knew from down in the jungle in Costa Rica already was the other co-facilitator of this training. And so I just sort of felt comfortable right off the bat. And then the facilities that we used were really welcoming and sort of inspiring to what this breathwork was going to be. And so I would say this was, of course, it was probably my first trip since the pandemic too. And so it was just really, I'd been carrying a lot of healing and energy stuff myself that didn't seem to flow or break through the way that I had expected it to. And so it was a really big release when I was up there, right? I had all this built up stuff that the breath work helped me with. And so for those who don't know, during the facilitation, we do a lot of our own breathing, and it's facilitated by Geo and the others. And we sort of have these own awakenings for ourselves. So what we're facilitating for everybody else is what we went through to become facilitators. And so
Exactly. Yeah.
yeah, and so the process was really great for me. It was really opening and expanding, and so that was really great. And so from that, I was one of the other little things that sort of inspired me to go there is I had done some of the journaling that Geo has and that we have on Elemental Rhythms on the website and also on the app, is about how to journal about future, right? You write what you want to have go on. And so I had picked up one of my journals where I'd done that kind of journaling before. And just that this one little sentence says, breath work will be the breakthrough. I had written that down before I knew Elemental Rhythm breakthrough breathwork. And so that was the thing that when, I had gotten the description of being in Alaska that I was going to do, I was like, okay. And so really, how it sort of shifted, it really shifted me, right? My whole reality is different because I'm conscious on a regular basis, and I touch base on a regular basis throughout the day about how I'm breathing, and then how that's making me available or impacting the world, right? So if I'm breathing abnormally, I can re-regulate myself rather quickly. And so that's one of the things that I sort of learned in the facilitation was, and then you can see in a lot of the videos that we have on Elemental Rhythm, that when you do those breath practices for yourself, you're not only expanding your lung capacity and finding rhythms, but you're actually changing your reality, and you're able to sort of float through and sort of stay in a centered unus while everything else might be traveling or doing something that is not on what you want to be as your core, right? So I think breath work has sort of helped me find a flow in the midst of the chaos of whatever regular world stuff is going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's amazing. So to simplify a little bit, yeah, breathwork
Yeah.
can really,
Yeah, that was
breathwork
headsy.
can, yeah, it's all right. It's a good answer, good explanation, but breathwork can really help change your state. And I think that's the simplified version of it. And that's the
Yeah.
beautiful thing about becoming a facilitator and being able to pass that on to other people.
Yeah.
So after taking the training, you can speak to, is there anything specific that you liked about the training itself? It's a 6 week, it's a weekend course, and then there's 6 weeks after that where you meet once a week. But
Mhm.
after taking all that, passed your exam, how has life kind of changed for you once you kind of became an elemental rhythm facilitator? And how are you kind of facilitating right now? Are you doing one-on-ones? Are you doing group sessions?
Yeah. Yeah. So I would say that the training itself was really once we sort of did that whole process, the 6 week process was really great. I met some great people doing that, and sort of that training process that we have there where we get to do one-on-ones and have feedback about, is it our stories? Is it our voice? How is our coaching good? How can our coaching improve while we're moving people through this rhythm? And so I would say that I overall that was probably a very good, um, builds a good foundation, right? So I haven't really had to go look up any more stuff, right? I've added to my repertoire, right? Because being inspired by Geo and the training process and everybody that was in it with me, learning the same facilitation, you want to know more, right? There's got to be more to this breath stuff. And so, I've done, lots of reading and sort of tested stuff out myself during the breath work. And so mostly now I started off with trying to do, I'm in a small town, right? So I think there's maybe like 15,000 people in my town. And so
Okay.
I'm not necessarily the mecca of metaphysics and spirituality and sort of upgrading your sort of, there's a couple of yoga studios around, but not a whole lot of stuff like this. And so I started out trying to do regular classwork like that. But now I'm really doing one-on-ones, and then I'm also going off campus. Not that I'm a campus, I'm a storefront, but I go off campus, and I've got facilitations that I do when I go and sort of facilitate for small groups, 15, 20. I've done breath work since then for it was an online gathering, but it was an international gathering of basically psychologists and psychiatrists that were sort of asking about the metaphysical world and about what that is. And so I facilitated a breath work for those groups of people. And so I'm just sort of offering it wherever I can, right? And so I'm
Yeah.
staying in my own breath. And the longer we sort of keep that state that you mentioned, um, it starts to bring people that want to be in that state with you, right? And so I'll get
Mhm.
individual clients. I have an individual client after this in about an hour that's coming here to the shop. And then people just like, hey, I've been trying to do breath work. I know you. I've experienced you in other ways. How about you come facilitate elemental rhythm for us? And because I sent them to the website, I sent them to the app, and they've sort of seen like, yeah, that seems like what we want to do, and we like the way you do what you do. So those two things married together is going to be really good. So yeah, I think it's really sort of given me the basis, and like you said, you can take breath with you, right? You don't need to buy something from me. You just need to have that facility. And then once you get that own rhythm of your breath, it starts to make you different and you'll seek it out more, right? Whether that's coming back for
Sure.
another one-on-one, signing up for a longer coaching kind of way that you're going to work with me or anything like that. Or even become a facilitator. Yeah.
Right. Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I can kind of relate. I'm also in a really small town. I live in the countryside.
Yeah.
And as I'm trying to branch out, the biggest thing that I kind of realized is once I started putting it out there, it kind of organically just
Mhm.
started to grow.
Yeah.
And because I'm in a small town, similar to you, there's not a lot of other offerings within this modality. So when
Right.
people hear about it, especially within those small circles, they're like, yeah, come on in. We'll
Right.
offer it to our communities. And that's been really helpful for me as well. So I think that's a good kind of progression as well, just for people kind of interested and wondering what it's like being a facilitator. It's not just about offering it to big groups. There's also a lot of opportunity to start a one-on-one practice, and that kind of enable you to really go a lot deeper with people because it is more of a one-on-one.
Yeah.
And that's just what the level one kind of certification that Elemental Rhythm
Right.
offers. There's also level two, which gives you
Mhm.
more of the tools to go even deeper.
Right.
So just want to call this out too, because if there's a couple people watching that said they might be interested and they're looking to do the training. So there is a training coming up May 27th, and then there's another one in July. But if you do have more questions, we're doing book a discovery call now, where you can book a call with like an actual facilitator, ask questions, and just try to get that kind of real time feedback. So if that's something you're interested in, you can, I believe, get it through the website or just message us through Instagram through the Elemental Rhythm page there, and we'll kind of get you sorted. So now just going back to Jason here. So now that you understand you've been facilitating and
Yeah.
what you kind of been up to, how have you enjoyed being part of the kind of the elemental community? Because it's been I think the community is a big aspect of what is
Right.
offered with becoming a breathwork facilitator. So maybe you could
Yeah.
just speak to that a little bit. How have you found the community, and how have you felt like you've been supported throughout your journey?
Yeah, like anytime I have a question, you or Geo or somebody in the community that already knows that's had a breathwork practice going up is readily answered. Everybody's available. Everybody wants to help. So this is probably out of all the structures of community and corporatism that I've been a part of, this has been the most available to movers and shakers that actually have the experience and the know-how, and not just a script to sort of answer what's going on with you. And they're experiencing stuff in a real world, right? The world, as we pick up this breath work, has really started to shift. And so there's people that have been through that shift that are doing breath work. And so I also, speaking of the community, I come every Monday night for the free session that Elemental Rhythm offers on Monday. I think that's at 7:30 p.m. No, 7 p.m. on Central Standard Time. And so I make
That's
that
right.
I make that my weekly breath work. I think that my practice of it and being there with other facilitators is really the thing that keeps me moving through the rhythm of the breath. And so
Yeah.
yeah, excuse me. And so I would say that community has been really great. And I think there was a second part of that question because I really got stuck on the community because I just really like it. Like, I can message Geo,
Right.
I can message John Jacob, which was the guy who showed me elemental rhythm in the first place, and he'll answer questions. And then Lisa, and then all the other facilitators that are on Mondays. Since I'm there every Monday, I've become a fixture to like, hey, how's our sound going, right? Hey,
Right.
how did you like this element I added? What do you like about that song, right? And so we're always consulting each other and making each other better, not competing for clients, not
Yeah,
complete
exactly.
not
Right.
competing for the stage. And so that's a marked difference from most things that I've experienced in the metaphysical world and also even the church world, right? Whose congregation's bigger, whatever, stuff like that. That doesn't seem to be the case in elemental rhythm.
You're right. Okay. Yeah, you kind of answered the second part. The second part was more about just like how you've been supported, but you pretty much nailed it. And there is live classes that we're doing Monday nights. Now we're offering them on Thursday afternoons, 2 p.m. Eastern time.
Sweet.
So a couple options. If you're interested, you can always go to the website and sign up for free and try out one of our free classes. From a facilitator perspective, yeah, the community is ever growing and there's so much support within it. And like you said, it's not about competing. It's just about helping each other grow, whether it's through the music that you're choosing, questions around how much to charge, right? Or just questions around how to run your class on your own. So amazing. That was a great answer. What would you say, I guess, to somebody who may be watching this and they're interested in becoming a facilitator, but they keep putting it off, or they feel like they're not ready yet, or someone that's on the fence? Would you have any advice maybe for someone in that situation?
Yeah. Yeah, sometimes you're worried about, is there going to be anybody that you can facilitate for, or you're starting it as a business, or maybe it's a side business, or maybe it's even just a hobby. It's almost like, who can I share this with? What's the issue with learning the extra stuff, or getting detailed, or even having a certification? And so, like, I started off my first career with this when I was in the church. The first place they sent me to do a service, there was 3 people there, and I'm like, y'all sent me to do this for 3 people? But when I made myself present, it was effective for them, right? And so that sort of fear that what's going to happen, the environment for who needs to have the breath work is going to show up for you. And we sort of talked about that at the beginning, that when we
Right.
sort of put ourselves out there, the clients and the opportunities to do that come, right? It's really telling the universe that you're ready to breathe with it, right? The universe is breathing in and out, and an elemental rhythm is going to help you join that sort of breath. And so I would say, anybody who's on the fence, if it's cost or whatever, find the cost, or if I have somebody help you out, because everything that you're going to learn and experience during the training is a tool for you, right? It is going to make you a better person by going through the training and then having access to the collated focus of what elemental rhythm is, with the videos and the instruction, right? And even just watching all the videos that are available once you sign up as a facilitator on elemental rhythm, those can give you the idea of, if you've never done a retreat before, look at those videos. You can put together a retreat from those videos. If you have a one-on-one and you don't know how to coach, and you're worried about, I'm not a coach, go through those videos, because Geo during those videos is coaching you, right?
Right.
And so there's all this access and collated around the website, that you can do all the things that you want to do. And then, as far as you as a person, if you're on the fence and it's calling to you, then you're the person, you're the right one, right? And all you really have to do is sort of release and breathe through that, right? And so the first thing is actually to sort of take that deep breath and drink that in, that you can be a facilitator. And then the possibilities, while you start to do that, sign up for a Monday night thing, right? Those Monday night or Thursday afternoons, now that you mentioned it,
Yep.
are going to have the breath teach you, right? It is going to awaken you to what it could be like to be a facilitator if you're just
Exactly.
breathing. And so I would say, if you're on the fence, get off the fence, join the club, join the community, join us. Because even if you're just doing it for yourself, that breathing is joining, almost like a chorus, right? Everybody who's doing breath work and facilitating breath work is doing it for those who haven't yet, or who can't. And
Right.
so you can be an integral part of the universal breath by just doing it for yourself. And then, of course, when you volunteer for doing those kinds of things, the universe brings you those who you can help, right? So you're worried about what your client list is or how to do it. The universe is going to bring you exactly who it is when you decide that you are exactly that person who can breathe, right? And since you're
Right.
probably listening to this, you're breathing right now, so you're
Right.
ready.
Yeah. One thing that I like to focus on is this, on the creation part versus the outcome. As
Right.
long as you kind of show up, put out what the energy that you want to put out there,
Mhm.
it'll get returned back to you.
Yeah.
And just a couple other points there. One, if it is a finance thing because you think it's too expensive or you can't afford it right now, we do offer a 3-month payment plan. So anyone that was looking to become a facilitator, something to be aware of that there is payment plan options. And you made another really good point. A lot of the facilitators started just by being a participant. Maybe they went to one of Gio's classes or they did a class online or maybe with somebody else, a different facilitator, but it was all about starting as a participant and going through the elemental rhythm breakthrough experience, having their own breakthrough, having their own profound experience, really understanding how deep they could go through this.
Yeah.
And then they had kind of that aha moment that, oh, maybe I want to kind of share this with other people. And maybe they were already a coach or a yoga instructor, or maybe not. Maybe they were just
Right.
a fireman or a police officer. There's so many different types of facilitators.
Right.
Everybody had that experience where then they were like, okay, I got to do this. I got to take the facilitated
Yeah.
training so I can then share it. And it's been such a wild ride, just kind of watching the community grow and seeing all the new like facilitators come in. Okay, so we're almost out of time. So before we go, and before we wrap this up, I just want to give you an opportunity just to let people know exactly where you are,
Mhm.
where they can find you online, maybe on Instagram or if you have a website, and maybe
Yeah.
you just want to kind of share a little bit about that so people who are interested can kind of reach out and find you.
Sure. Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks. You can find me at newdimensionscrystals.com. That is my website. There links my socials, so Facebook, Instagram. If you're on Instagram, which y'all are over here, hi Instagram. It is New Dimensions Crystals at New Dimensions Crystals. That is also my Facebook handle, New Dimensions Crystals. Sometimes you can find me, Jason Korthauer, hanging out in the ethers, other places like that. You can look me up that way if you want to. Be glad to be your friend. But also, you can find me on YouTube. I have a weekly sort of energy update, what I sort of talk about what's happening, right? And I always talk about breath work and how breathing through what's happening in the shifts of culture, the planet, the weather, and all these kinds of things. I mention that every weekly on my YouTube channel, which is also New Dimensions Crystals. And if you happen to be in Brenham, Texas, which is just outside of Houston, I'm open usually Wednesday through Saturday, uh, 11 to 5 p.m. And you can come in the shop and just hang out and sort of ask questions if you're in the area in Texas and do that. And so I'm pretty much available 24/7. Everybody is these days in social media world. But yeah, I'm usually not taking too far of a break from my Instagram or my Facebook. So messages that way. And then as far as my breathwork stuff, you can go to the website and even book my one-on-ones there. And then there's ways to contact me if you have a event that you want to have that's semi-local or drivable that I can come out and do for you. I can facilitate large groups, small groups, doesn't really matter to me. And we can come to agreement on what we need contractually as far as finances and time wise and preparation for that. And then, of course, since I was in the corporate world before this and did large groups and retreats, if you have a large retreat that you want me to come and facilitate breathwork at, I can also do that. And you can contact me through the website for stuff like that. So yeah, I'm ready to do it all, and I'm ready to also do nothing but breathe in your stead, right? And so I'll be keeping the pace, one element at a time here at the shop until we meet again. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, well, thank you so much, Jason, for your time. I mean, it was great getting to chat with you and hear
Yeah.
your story, hear your journey. We're going to be continuing this series. I think we have one more scheduled for this Friday afternoon with Lisa.
Oh yeah.
That might be the last one in this series. I got to double check on that, but
Mm.
feel free to comment, guys. If you're on Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube, just drop us a comment so we know you guys are watching.
Yeah.
We want to hear how you're enjoying these sessions. If we should do more of these sessions, we have some other ideas for lives. Maybe doing some breath works in the morning where we go live and we can all breathe together. So yeah, if you're getting this and you're receiving this message, just drop some comments. Let us know what you want, and we will deliver. So, with that being said, Jason, thank you so much.
Thank
Happy to
you.
chat with
It
you.
was
And
great.
guys, yeah, we'll see you
Bye,
on the next
everybody.
one. Take it
Yeah.
easy. Keep
Bye bye.
breathing.